everybody, Frank from A.G.E Outdoors here. As you can tell, it's a bit of a sweaty day. I'm going to try and take you through how I'm not really going to design, but I'm going to show you the software that I use for designing, which is free, and you all at home can use it as well. And then we're going to import it into the plasma table, cut some parts for the old Rover project. So, let's get to it. Okay, so the software I use is called Onshape. It is an online CAD program that pretty much lets you configure it however you want. And I use this quite regularly in my projects on the Jeep. I'm using it on the Rover. Now this part here that you see on the screen, this is the switch panel that my windows are in. Being that my internet connection is relatively poor out here in the garage, I am probably the farthest signal I can get for Wi-Fi. You would click the part, export to DXF, name it what you want, and then take it out. So from there, I have all my stuff dropping into my download folder. Then we jump in over to here into Sheet Cam, which I do have a license to use. And so on Sheet Cam, I'll go File. I'm going to import drawing. We're going to start with that window switch panel you just got to see. I always just kind of let it default where it wants to, and this little black dot, if you can see it, this is where it's going to orientate it. You pull it up and you can just make it out. We go down here and we render a cut path. I always make sure to do all my insides first. We're going to leave it about 40 inches per minute. We are cutting this out of 1/8 inch aluminum on the plasma table. So 40 inches a minute should be pretty good. It will be a little slaggy because it is plasma cut in aluminum. And we'll have to clean those edges up. So from here I'll click OK. And I go up here to this little box that says Run Post Process. Post Process is the file that'll be used on my fire control software for my plasma table. So I'm going to click that. The whole computer has just went laggy. There we go. And I have a documents file for the Land Rover. I just got to find it. I have not ran this computer in a little over a month, so it's doing all sorts of slow stuff. We'll save that one there. Then I go over to my fire control software, which runs my Langmuir CNC plasma table, which is a 4 foot by 3 foot. We're going to import this. And once I select the folders, every time I open while I'm doing this process, it'll stick to those same folders, which is nice. We can select our file, click open. Again, my whole system is really lagging. Oh, there we go. Now I always set my corner down in the bottom. I got to zero out. And you see the white crosshair moves. Right now I'm just verifying that I've got everything programmed right to go where I want it to. Now that you've seen that, I'm going to change your view to actually see the plasma table. Now I'm going to run the same process where you saw the crosshairs go. And what I'm doing is I'm verifying that I have room on the table to cut the part that I'm going to cut. It's a little sticky. We should be okay though. And that's what I do there. Okay, so make sure to guard your eyes. I will try and edit this down so it doesn't burn your eyes, but I am going to run the cut path. So, show you what we've got going on now. I now have an aluminum version of the plastic cover. Now underneath this plastic cover on the Land Rover is a plastic mount. I'll show you that when I go to install it. And what I'm doing is I wanted to have something a little more stout than just this. And if you notice, I've got extra material. This is actually going to get like a 15-degree bend in it for the screws, so this will sit back in the stock location. And it'll replace this and the underlaying plastic component. It's a bit overbuilt, but that's what we've got going on there. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to just kind of get the slag off the edges of the part, clean it up, polish it up. Make sure you're wearing safety glasses. Now the basics is just to get all the slag off the edges. Now I'm going to go get my A.G.E burr tool and I'm going to clean up that little bit that's left. And for any of you that have ever worked in a shop, trusty little burr tool. I'm just going to go through and make sure I don't have any sharp edges left. Most of these edges will be covered up. So it's more for personal preference than anything else. And I've also got a little switch over there I'll grab here in a second and kind of show you how it will fit. Now on the Land Rover, this is the over cover and the switches are actually in the panel behind it. This panel, however, will replace that cover behind it and the switches are going to get shoved down in there. And they're going to fit nice and snug. Not going to put this switch in because the ones that function are actually in the Rover. This is a spare switch that was burnt out, but it was great for figuring everything out. But these will get all pushed in here. So I'll have my 4 windows. The center one is the lockout so that kids can't put them up or down, or dogs can't put them up and down, which is kind of weird, being that they don't have a switch on any of the doors. This is on the center console, so the interlock switch doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's there. So this is what we've got. It'll be a nice little aluminum switch. I'm going to put a bend. So if I overlay this, you see that little extra material top and bottom. You can see where I'm going to make the bends. Right across that line, across that line, and the vise to get this to set in. So, here in a few minutes, I will be moving the Rover up here to do an install of this. Right now, I'm going to do a quick cut on the other parts, and maybe we'll make a little compilation video of some cuts. We'll see how it goes. So, see you in a moment for the install. Okay, I got a little bit ahead of you without videoing. I did put a bend at the top and some screw holes. And this is the plastic portion I was telling you about that's just all beat up. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through and one by one I'm going to remove the switches so I can kind of keep them in their same orientation. So like this will be the first one that's going to go in. Try to see if there is an up and a down, and there is an up and a down. And we're just going to push that switch on in, get it to lock into place, and voila, there is my first switch into the new panel. And that's basically what we're going to do with all of these, because like that one's broken up, that one's broken up, that one's now broken up. The only one not really broken up is this middle one, and it might as well be broken up. Now if you look at the front of the panel, the switch actually tells you is it a front window or a back window, which is kind of neat. I mean, it's not, oh wow, that's amazing, but hey, it tells you. And yeah, so I just discovered that the little guy is probably going to need some modification to get it to fit in the old hole, because I cut it thinking it was like the others, and it is not. So that one will get a little extra effort. So now let you know this one goes right here. And that will go. And on the back of these, there's actually a T in the middle. So the switch only can plug in one orientation, which is nice. Keeps you kind of from screwing it up. Somewhere I actually have the diagram that tells me what color actually goes to what. So if I do end up messing this up, I got access to correct that. And again, this Rover is a learning project. It's an overlanding project. And it's one of those, hey, well, that one had the wrong switch in it, but we'll go with it. It's a project that's letting me find out if I really want to get into building another Rover or another Cherokee. Maybe I go down the rabbit hole and buy another Commander. I don't know yet. But we are looking into what the options are going forward, and this old girl is kind of the test mule. So I'm gonna go cut this stem off and see what I can come up with that'll fit in this, and I'll be right back at you. Okay, everybody, due to the fact that it was a very obscenity-filled conversation getting this little guy in there, I am not going to share a video on how I installed that, and I'm not taking it back out. It sucked. We'll leave it at that. So, now, I'm just going to put the switch panel in here. It does look like I could make a little bit of some adjustments. There we go. So I shove it down there. And yes, I use a lot of self-tapping roofing screws on this because, well, I have a homestead, which means we have boxes of roofing screws from doing outbuildings. And they work. So I'm just going to use them. You may not have the amount of roofing screws I do, and you may not use them. I do, and I will use them. not really keen on the way this thing is fitting. Part of that is because of the stock lineup. So we're gonna go get a tool and we're gonna cut some stuff off. Now my son and my daughter make fun of me because I have a motto. It's called, when in doubt, cut it off. It works on most of my Jeep projects. It's always worked on the Jeep projects, so when in doubt, cut it off, just carry it over to a Land Rover. And guess what? When in doubt, cut it off worked out. Worked out because now my switches sit where I want them to. Still don't like that one. Really don't. But we're going to leave it. Why? Because we're starting to come down on time crunch on this build. Yeah, go figure, right? Me, a time crunch build? Always. I will say this British, European, whatever you want to classify it as, Land Rover knows how to use plastics. Unlike the American stuff that's really thin and brittle and soft, their plastic is actually not half bad. It works. It gets the job done. And I'm fairly pleased with it. So, now you can see my switch panel. My lights, or not my lights, my windows now have all their switches mounted. It's better than what it had. It ain't perfect. And again, this one isn't necessarily going to be perfect. I do got to install that one, which I did get cut out. I got to do a test fit on a couple of things. This one here will be going in, which I also cut out. But there, I've got to do something about the resistor for the heater. I'm going to set it up to where I only have high because the current resistor is shot. But I am not going to buy another one because I'm not spending $220 on a Land Rover resistor. When you think about it, I typically only use my heater on high anyways. So I've got to do that. And then at the same time, I've got to go after a, if that works, my power wire problem for my heater controls will be solved, and I won't have to do much but fix a repair there. For now, I think we're going to call it a day, and it's a bit warm out here. I'm going to try and get a little bit more done to share with you later, but I don't think I'm going to film a whole lot more today. It's a pretty roasty toasty day here in Michigan. I know I haven't gotten a video up as frequently as I would like to. I did get the one on the Wrangler, which was all exciting and whatnot. There is an update on the Wrangler coming. It is frustrating. I'll give you that. It'll probably come out in a short. I don't need to make a long format video for it, but there is a frustrating situation that I have discovered. And You'll just have to stay tuned and watch for it. But for now, old Rover, she's going to start making some headway because as of next Friday, I am 8 weeks. Yep, we're going to start another countdown. We did it last year for Colorado and bust, and Colorado was both a bust and a blessing and crazy fun, but not in the fun I wanted. This year, it's going to be the Kentucky Adventure Trail and the Daniel Boone Backcountry Byway kind of mixed in together. I'm working on some new software for doing some video stuff. I want to show you guys how I'm planning that trip. But for now, I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to get to wrenching, get to editing. And for all of you out there, I want you to keep on aging and stay blessed.